And those fairy tale cards really have gone crazy. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button. And Kong still has their mystery packs up. This has an opportunity to get some new upcoming cards like Forbidden Crowns and so forth. I'll leave a link down below if you guys want to pick up a couple of these mystery packs and see, how the openings are going to go for this. It's definitely an interesting time for the holiday season. So, fairy tale cards. I'm just gonna say it, like, you guys are absolutely nuts, man. I have seen fairy tale snow just get bombarded off of the market. I'm honestly just impressed by this community turning this card into literal. I mean, I'm sure there wasn't very many of these on the market as it was, but just on 12/3 bombarded, just completely obliterated off the market. And I mean, we don't even know if this card's going to come back. I guess I could see it as a one of to maybe push a support, but I mean, if they're not bringing back Boral, they bring that back. Fairy Tale Luna QCR's gone, $20. Fairy Tale Snows for the OTS packs, look, dollars. Okay. Another card from the OTS pack, 25 cents. Raelias. So this is the one that once turn you discard a spell card to equip an equip spell from your hand deck or graveyard to this card. You know that little fairy tale support card that we just got? Well, it actually interacts with Rella here. These ended up, holy crap. All right, never mind. So OTS supers of this have just been slammed down. That's disgusting. That, the Fairy Tale Snow, and of course the Rella are all crazy. Luna's 40 cents, 30 cents, 30 cents. And, we continue to dip down here into the low rarity stuff. And then we arrive at the Fairy Tale Tales. Now, for those of you that forgot, we can reveal a spellcaster monster in your hand with 1850 attack and a different name than the monsters that you control. Now, after this effect resolves, you get to normal summon or set that monster. And then you can only use this effect, Fairy Tale Tales, once per turn. And the first time each turn that you would take battle or effect damage, and you control a, monster with 1850 attack, you would take none. So, this was like stuff that we got originally with the Charmer stuff, so it does kind of feel very appropriate if we're getting Charmer support, that we have to double down on this. The sheer amount of these that have been wiped out just today alone is... Oh my god, I've loaded this twice. I'm honestly... somebody bought 11 back on 11.20. That's spooky. I don't know, man. This is an interesting takeaway. Just to see. So, that's one of your last major things to be observing here for the fairy tale cards. You got a lot of movements, that's for sure. Legendary 5Ds decks, they're finally hitting the shelves. Evidently, side note here, evidently some of the ones at Walmart are they're not glued enough and they're popping up open. I'm not exactly sure what the details are on that, but I guess if you're trying to keep them sealed, you're gonna have to be careful of the retail shelving for how that's going. So it looks like 41s right now on up to 42. I bet people are pissed for having spent, the 47. My god, people are still spending $49 to $50 on these just yesterday. All right, market, you clearly understand everything going on here. Sky Striker A0, maybe I'm just batshit crazy, or maybe I don't understand the market, but I swear every time I come down here and I look at this card and I go, wow, we're at $35 right now. It clearly can't get worse. And then just another day through, it just gets worse. I don't understand this market. Do we clearly believe that this card is really not going to get a reprint? Because I feel like that goes against everything that we kind of believe in right now. But Zero it's a wild thing to see within the market here. So still $34 and going. Congratulations. Proof do they actually sell? Yeah. There you go. They actually move. crazy. Evil Hero Dead in Prison. I don't really have many words for this card. I mean, we know that it's an incredibly good card, and we've seen it. Well, disregard the top end here. Realistically, this is a $7 card. When you look at the top end of these markets, you do tend to see a lot of these just, you got to go with the TCG Player Direct. You know, that's why we advertise that direct by, what's it called? And it's kind of stupid. Somebody just bought 7 of these for $7.39 each. Huh. That's very interesting. I don't appreciate that very much. Elzette Azamina of the White Forest. These are actually expensive right now. You've broken about $16 for these, which I guess is nothing too big to think about. I don't know, man. $16 is not the craziest thing to see, but it's just how many of these have actually moved? Not a lot of them. I believe that what you're seeing here is just enough of the market going, hey, you know, this is a card that if you want to play anything White Forest related, you are typically going to need a copy of it just to be able to play any of the real combo variants. So, something to think about. X-Saber Garzum. I'll talk more about this card at a much later date. But what you need to know is destroyed and sent to the graveyard by a card effect. Add an X-Saber from your deck to your hand. There surely couldn't be a way to abuse this card, right? Right? Well, it looks like somebody picked up 10 of them. A lot more of them. Yep. Good card's pretty good for X-Saber. This one's pretty stunning. So, you know, we just had kickback, and, you know, when we have the large amount of the dollar bills coming down from the top and people are spending infinite amounts of their hard-earned moolah, there's always going to be a Blue Eyes White Dragon that we're going to have to watch because you know that the market is doing very markety things. And, of course, your ultimate rare, you're still sitting about $80, but your kicker is, keep in mind, observe down here, that you eventually hit the $100 mark here. We shift on down here even more, and then you eventually hit the $120 mark. Yes, that's $120. Now, how are our sales data going here? Well, somebody on 12/2, 2 days ago, bought 7 near mint copies at $140 a copy. Had they got that in on kickback, I think they would have made some insanely good money. I also see that somebody bought 3 light plays at 85s. So whatever, you know, cheaper copies have existed of this on the market, the grail shopping for those near mint copies is kind of elusive, actually. Shooting Majestic Star Dragon. I talked about this last week because we saw Yusei fanboys were wanting to pick this up because, I mean, you just got new Yusei Fudo support. Alright, this is one of those cards you look at and you're like, oh, hey, you know, it's a free monster negate, gains extra attacks, and gets the ability to warp out and banish. Yeah, I mean, that's everything I want in a card, but $30 for these? Like, come on, man. Why so much money? Well, everybody, when you realize when it's all said and done, this card doesn't have a freaking reprint yet. I don't know why Shooting Majestic Star Dragon doesn't have a reprint yet. Does this thing even have a Starlight Rare? I think it does have a Starlight Rare, yes. Your Starlight Rare is coming in. I mean, you have 2 cheap copies, we jump up to 130 on up to 200, so that's kind of crazy to think about. A-Bow Q. A-Bow has been cruise controlling $15 to $16. And honestly, I don't really think it's doing too bad on the back end of things. Interesting. And then Gem Knight Neprim. I'm just keeping up with this, man, every single day. Today, the Chronicles of Neprim put it at about a $17 card. Am I necessarily shocked to see that? No, but the Chronicles of Neprim continue. I do expect this card to continue its joyride around in circles just because that's what the card loves to do right now. You can thank Dark Lords and other future support for making this card viable in the future. So what do you think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here in day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.